Welcome to this week's OK at Work with myself, Sarah Sawyer, my colleague Russell Berger, both attorneys at Offit Kurman. And today we are talking about a new law involving minimum wage in Maryland. So the General Assembly here just finished their legislative session, and a bunch of bills went to Governor Moore's desk for signature. And one is involving an increase in minimum wage. So what do employers need to know, Russell?
Yeah, so a few years ago, Maryland voted to increase the minimum wage to $15 per hour, and it was going to be over time, with the minimum wage ultimately reaching $15 an hour, January 1, 2025 for larger business, which is defined as 15 or more employees. And it was going to take another year to get there until January 1 of 2026 for smaller employers. The new law accelerates that timeline for both large and small, does away with that distinction. And across the board, the minimum wage in Maryland is going to be $15 an hour starting on January 1 of 2024.
Yeah, and I think this acceleration, and I think it's been billed as dealing with inflation, and obviously we've seen a lot of increases in costs and things already so far. Federal government is willing to keep inflation down, but I think that as we start to see these increases happening more, that we'll see employers responding to that with increasing their prices as well. So it's kind of this chasing game that's going on. It's the General Assembly is increasing the minimum wage to increase buying power, but then also employers may increase costs as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that already over the last year, kind of independent of, minimum wage making that final jump, because minimum wage has been going up year over year the last few years in Maryland. But with just the economy the way it is, we've already seen that as, costs go up, labor costs are going up. It's been hard to hire. It's been hard to retain employees. That's led to prices going up, and obviously there's been an inflationary economy that we've all been operating in. So I think you're right, Sarah, that it's certainly likely that increased labor costs are going to get passed along to consumers. I mean, and as you said, it's always this kind of juggling act of trying to get it right, because while no one I know is opposed to people making a living wage and being able to afford certain items. The fact of the matter is, if you just simply raise the minimum wage and it increased business costs, they're going to get passed along. You're going to be chasing that living wage. So while it certainly has a role in trying to address that problem, it can't be the only solution from a government policy standpoint. And then from an employer standpoint, some of the things that I think we talked about a few years ago when this was going into effect. I think it only highlights the or exacerbates the speed with which businesses may be looking to automate certain tasks and using AI or technology to solve problems. Because at the very least, that cost benefit analysis of the cost of the investment, and in technology, that may stay flat, whereas the cost of labor goes up, and it changes that cost benefit from a business perspective. And you only just over time, or even over the last few years, you see more and more automated cashiers at various fast food restaurants, grocery stores, wherever. So you see more and more of that stuff starting to take place, and I think it's something that any business is going to have to consider as the cost of labor increases.
Yeah, and given that it's a state increase and not every state is increasing at the same rate as well, I think that's also something we see when people are considering where they shop, if they're between multiple states. Though we are seeing other states are also doing similar increases, especially in this area. So it'll be something to monitor for sure, especially since people were expecting a little bit of a longer timeline on this. So definitely something to pay attention to. But thanks, Russell, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Sarah.